Hello, hello, and welcome along to another episode of Elsewhither, Tales of the Unchained. Can anybody remember what happened last session?
A lot of things. We fought some undead, but I don't remember I don't really remember how it got to that.
How or why, indeed.
We were sent, or we basically showed up to some crypt.
Yeah, you were given.
They kept coming.
Right.
Yes,
here you go.
correct.
That's right.
A guy offered booze and treasure to help clear. Yeah, that's it. Booze and gold as payment.
It wasn't even that much.
No. It wasn't.
No, I think it was 50 gold pieces, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's all down the drain.
That.
Yeah. That's quite a lot for some little guy who owns a little shrine. And some good alcohol. Did we put that alcohol somewhere? We lose track it or something?
The gin and tonic or something.
And yeah, the gin and tonic and the
Put it all the way down in the
tea.
consumables.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Jack's done it for us. So it's 2 gin and tonics,
Thank
1
you.
Celestial Sunrise, 1 Wispy Sour, and 1 Oristed Iced Tea. If you want to know what these do, they are on D&D Beyond, and they are somewhat maybe useful. And then you guys went off to, yet again, get a demon out of a inn room, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, what's going on with that? The DM's running out of ideas, it would seem. Or had the same idea twice, one of the two. Either way, you came out with a pile of loot. Was there anything special in that pile of loot? Most of it was like potions and stuff, right?
It was
I honestly don't remember that loot.
I don't remember that loot.
Okay, it was...
I don't know that because I think Pietro was poisoned to
I was focused on not dying and how much it was going to cost for us to live.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys did put it in the group loot, although I don't know where the... there's a couple of bits that aren't there, but anyway, it's 2 manufactory purity potions. Oh, I think they're in different places. Okay. 2 potions of manufactory purity, 2 weather resistance, a feather falling, 2 greater healing potions, a scroll of whole person, and a scroll of invisibility. There was a wand of minor illusions, a griffin key loop, an everfrosted tankard, an enduring spellbook, and a hat of wizardry. Basically, a massive pile of stuff that is ever so slightly useful. One of minor illusions is pretty useful.
I'll take the whole person scroll and record it.
Cool.
If that's cool.
If you could delete it from the
I will.
Google tracker. How
you
are
do
you
it.
inking? How much inking are
Oh,
you?
I have lots of ink.
Yep.
I
So it'll
stocked
be
up.
each ink has 5 uses, and it's a second level, right? So it's 2 of 5. Is that right?
I was 10 uses per ink.
10 uses. Yeah. Okay. It might be 10. Yes, 10 uses.
I have 3
sorry.
bottles.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
I
got
have
30
3
uses.
bottles,
So you got
and one of them,
28.
has. Well, no, I have one of them has 3 taken away from it. So
Great. Okay. So you'll have
25.
5 uses left. Fantastic. There must be a better way to track that, but I don't know how. Cool.
it's working.
And yeah, with that, you guys conglomerated at the temple, paid 700 gold to get the poison removed that was screwing you over, and took a long rest in Campus Rose. I would assume
We have
you
not
did
hit
that
the
time
long
of day.
rest button because I think Boxxo was about to try and talk down for a refund or a rebate.
Yes,
He already done a
thank you,
charisma
Mark.
save.
This was like 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were in the temple of the great... No, where are you? Temple of the Constellation? Carina's Cathedral?
Yeah,
Temple of the Great Dragons?
Yes,
Yeah.
Carina's.
Karina.
Carina's. Is that the one that has the right thing? Cathedral of Carina has greater restoration. Yep. So you're in the Cathedral of Carina, and you have just paid 700 gold for 2 greater restorations. And Boxxo was going to try and make a petition that you shouldn't have paid so much. Do you still want to do that, Josh, or is it Is it something that you now have no idea why or where or what of?
Well, I think before we ended, I said to them like we had dealt with these undead. We also dealt with the ghost ship, but I did go into detail about that. And so,
well, yeah, we retconned the ghost ship because it was meant to be a secret.
Sure.
But you got rid of a demon in an inn room. And you cleared out the undead from a great dragon's crypt. From the Temple of the Great Dragons.
And so...
Okay, the lady you're petitioning is High Priestess Lorelia Thorn. She's an ASMR. Let me know what you're saying. I'll let you know what she thinks.
We have already, banished the demon and rid some grounds of some undead. Surely we've helped the temple enough without also having to spend so much gold. We're very
have you not
poor
been
people.
paid for these tasks?
No.
Would you like to make a deception check?
Yeah, sure.
These two.
That's a 9.
Okay, well, I find that a little unlikely. I don't know if you're aware, but the casting of this spell, the Greater Restoration, requires great resources from one of our strongest clerics and a significant amount of diamond dust in the casting. We make small profit from this spell.
Okay.
To provide it for cheaper would really put pressure on us. That being said, if you're looking to recompense some of your gold, I could potentially pay you for a small task.
What's the task?
I understood from your group's discussions that you're headed to the south. If you are going to pass through Giol, headed to the south, yes, that is right. If you are going to be headed to Giol, there is something to be delivered to our sister temple there. It is an item of some danger, so it must be kept very carefully guarded.
Okay.
I could perhaps arrange for them to pay you perhaps 100 gold pieces on arrival. But I do warn you that this item must remain covered from sunlight at all times.
Okay, I can do that.
Appreciate it. She looks around. The rest of you are present if you have any questions, because eyebrows are being raised in many different directions. If you have any questions, please let me know. Just to give you a brief bit of explanation, Giol is mostly a place with only the Temple of the Great Dragons, but they have a small sister shrine being built to the constellation currently. That is... She would explain that.
If, in the unlikely event, the item does get exposed to sunlight, is it a danger to itself, to us, or to the surrounding area?
Mostly the surrounding area, but it depends exactly how and which angle you drop it at. It is going to create 4 fairly large walls that, unsupported, may topple. And that could be a large problem for you, and requires quite careful execution to put them in place properly.
Okay.
It requires a roof. Pietro's just in a sort of stupor after being healed from this poison, so he has no idea.
It will require a roof, yes, but that is, well, it's going to be a painted piece and needs to be constructed by hand. This is merely to expedite the process of rebuilding the Constellation Temple in Giol.
Is it building?
It will be, at some point. Or bits of, I guess.
The little thing that we have... Wait, are we carrying a building?
You're carrying what's called a seed. Many of these are created. There are seeds for wells, for walls, for bridges, all sorts. They begin as creation of a powerful illusionist. Which allows the illusion to be temporarily held in place and then solidified into reality as a permanent structure. The actual item itself is just should be holdable in your hand, and she will, under the cover of darkness, be able to show you because sunlight is what will power it. So she sort of raises she sort of goes and fetches it and brings it over, and just using a cloak to cover it so it doesn't sort of too visibly dangerous. What you'll see is 4 walls made of silver, gold, and gems, basically. Each gem containing a different element of the magic, one denoting the height, one denoting the width, one denoting how deep the foundation should go, and one denoting the material it should be built of. Yeah.
When you say rebuild, did something happen to the previous shrine there?
The temple was brought down during the most recent, there's a lot of trouble in Jewel. There's a town divided between those calling themselves the Reclaimed Sons, who resist the Vazaran rule that has been placed upon them and desire the independence that Jewel once had. It once stood claimed not even by Tamrakas, but as a town unto itself, on the border of the Savage West. Now more of the Savage West is being claimed, all the way out to Gravath, but Annie and Jewel still fight for its independence.
I see. I'm sorry that the temple was caught up in such a conflict.
It's a little strange. If anything, the Constellation Temple should be seen as a sign of independence. The Great Dragon role, but it's those opposing the independent, whatever I just called them, the Reclaimed Sons. To cause trouble, or perhaps it just got caught in a riot, but it is nothing but rubble. 2 of our priests were gravely wounded.
Well,
Sorry, going back to the seed thing. If like we do expose it to sunlight, how fast until it becomes a building?
Given that you do not have the proper abilities to channel it, I would imagine it will be almost instantaneous.
That's not good. What do we do if that happens?
Out of the area quickly, and well, then a 4-walled building with no roof, she looks pointedly at Pietro, will be raised somewhere between here and Jewel, in a place it doesn't need to be. I'm sure it'll be a great tale and a complete waste of our gold, so please don't let it get expended. Sunlight.
And you won't hold us accountable if we mess that up?
You won't be paid, and you'd be very disappointed. But you are trustworthy citizens, I'm assured. Councillor spoke well of you.
Yeah, we are
Chancellor,
trustworthy.
not Councillor. Sorry. He was the
Chancellor, the Dragonborn?
He was one of 2 Silver Dragonborn, one that was much less secretive, who was an underling of the Vizier, who was the person you would need to speak to should you need to purchase property in Metella. You were given his name, and he was told that you were citizens of great upstanding and you should be looked after well after your services to the Vizier. Getting rid of the ghost chap.
Corrie is obviously happy to help out the Constellation and deliver this, but I don't know if everyone else is on board for delivery quests and such.
We're going there anyway.
Vel'zekiss is just listening to Toothy's confusion and fingering this staff that also turns into a building.
I'm gonna say don't. I'm like, don't we have
Just you
something
wait
that
till you
turns
show him
Wait
the
to mess with him.
Hey, nobody has explained what that is to
Nope.
Toothy.
Oh, that's true. Actually,
He just sees a pretty hunting rod.
Just like you haven't gotten my reaction yet. So
Oh, you will. But yeah, if you guys are willing to do that, Boxxo, is that?
Yeah, I mean, I offered, so yeah, I'm down for it.
Okay, so it's 100 gold pieces.
I was down for it without having to know all this information.
yeah, but then what eyebrows raised? Like, that's what a dangerous item. Everybody's going, what are the church doing?
Yeah.
They are rebuilding. Okay, cool.
Boxxo is not thinking that.
After that, I'm assuming that it will be a quick dash back to the Compass Rose, where you will take a long rest, and you will come by in the morning to the Cathedral of Corina to collect the item and depart towards Sheol.
sounds good.
Go ahead and hit the long rest button. The following morning, it's an all-you-can-eat breakfast, which is a simple 9 max HP. Look at that, good roll. And you guys can head on it. Is anybody purchasing anything from Vitella before you leave? Specifically, because I know that Sorry, I just played some George Michael through the stream. That is not what I was looking for. I pressed unpause, and instead of unpausing the Roll20 music, it unpaused my Spotify. Sorry, I've completely lost track of what I was saying. Yes. Is anybody... I understand that we're not buying any major items, but are there any consumables that anybody needs? Are we in need of any potions? I think we've got quite a lot of potions, haven't we? And Corey's churning them out.
I got a potion of mana. Did Corey make that, or did we buy that?
I think you bought one, and then we've got a few in the group loot as well.
Okay, good.
We got 7.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just food, drink, scrolls and stuff.
I gotta deal out my exhaustion.
Yep.
On
two levels of exhaustion from staying the Compass Rose. Sorry, Marco.
Okay, I'm just reading my Cauldron of Rebirth here. So it's when I finish the long rest, I can make a potion of healing greater, which just takes a minute to do.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So I will add that in, and then we'll also start the day with me awkwardly making pies while we eat breakfast.
Yeah, well, I assume you make them in your room, right? Pack them up and eat them. And then,
wake up early and
have an all-you-can-eat breakfast. Yeah.
Cool. I'm good.
Cool.
I'm just looking quickly here.
There is no list of scrolls. I have prices on a couple of the scrolls if that's what you're looking for.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good on that, I think.
I have just noticed that because I have the Tower of Ishastar in my inventory, it lists me as having resistance to all damage and immunity to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
Just unequip it.
Look at you.
Yes, just unequip it. You are not a building. Vel'zekiss, calm down. Yeah, it's a weird one, that. It's because originally I had plans of like creating a character sheet that was the tower, and then equipping the item, and then adding stuff in, and then I changed my mind, and I was like, I'm not deleting everything. So it still has all the properties as actual properties. Cool. So if nobody is purchasing any, you don't need any apples or anything, do you? Those of you who like to feed apples to random things. Joshua.
No.
Yeah, good. In our other campaign, he keeps feeding horses apples, and I made him go to a shop and buy them because he didn't have them. It's really annoying me. As it is Corrie that cooks, Mark, is there any sort of foodstuffs you would want to purchase on your way out? Is there? Or have you still got plenty of stoops?
I mean, I've got like plenty of the pantry items. I guess if we were wanting meat and stuff, I should grab some of that.
Some fresh food.
Yeah, I mean, there's things like eggs and vegetables. In terms of meat, you'd have to pop by our lovely butchers. Which is going to be called something. What the? Oh, where did
The Red Hook
Cuts. Yeah. You can buy chicken feet. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, make a nice little stew out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you wish to make any purchases, just take the money off and take a note.
Cool. Got it.
In fact, what I will do in the player tools, I will add a handout for you. I'm just going to call it dump loot. And if you want to at any point just say, oh, I've got these things, and not have to keep track of it on D&D Beyond. It helps if I give you guys access to it, doesn't it? Put it in all players. Can be edited by all players. Come on. Oh my god, Roll20, what are you doing? Cool. Yeah, if you want to dump anything in there, such as foodstuffs or ingredients or potions or anything, just to keep track of it more easily than having to type it all in D&D Beyond, you're more than welcome to do so. And if you don't, that is also fine. Fantastic. Yeah, let's get on the road again. On the road again. It is currently... What time would you guys have got up? How early is departing time in the land of the Unchained?
Really early. I mean, like
7?
What time's dawn?
Yeah.
I was gonna say whenever dawn.
Plus breakfast.
Plus
Dawn
breakfast.
is probably 6, so...
Yeah, so 7, I would say.
Yeah, 7, and then we'll be out of town by 8 a.m. And a reminder, we are traveling with the carriage, probably being driven by Vel'zekiss or Toothy. Toothy was learning, right? Is that a thing? You learnt, I think, actually, from Eileen. Is that correct? Have you?
Have I learned? I was learning.
You were learning, which I think
yeah.
I said would have been completed by the time you arrived, and Vel'zekiss already knew how to drive a wagon, right? Yeah, great.
To some degree. Yeah.
So yeah, the two of you, between you can share the riding the wagon out duties. And it's not all that long, maybe 3-4 hours. Is that right? Let me just do a little measurement. It's 16 miles. How fast does a carriage go? With paired horses. Maybe 6 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour? Probably not unrealistic, is it? Kind of pass. Cool. So yeah, I'll say about 3.5 hours before you arrive at the village of Corvath. Corvath is a beautiful little village by the riverside.
Ooh.
And when you arrive, you see an ish looking woman with scraggly grey hair, sort of standing in the middle of the road, throwing salt into the water and shouting quite loudly in Elvish. Can I speak Elvish? Anyone even slightly familiar with Elvish?
Not I.
And I.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so she just looks like a madwoman.
Is she Elvish though?
She looks like a half elf.
Okay. She's got pointy ears at least.
And can I just... Oh, you speak Elvish? With you, or are you just waving at her?
I'm just waving.
Okay, cool. Right, I was just clarifying when you're waving at me or you're waving at her. Like, speak Elvish! Right, okay. Yes, that's Toothy waves. Corrie, can you remind me what you're wearing? Sorry. Question I left you. But I'm pretty certain you're wearing some sort of priestly garb, right?
Yeah, I walk around with my dark blue constellation
Okay.
cloak that's got the little star in the middle of it.
She will come over to you immediately and beseech you and say, "Excuse me, you're a cleric?"
I am. How may I help you?
Oh, we have no priest in our village, and the hollow stone is speaking.
You can't have ours.
I believe something has stirred, something has raised within the waters. It's causing all manner of distress and nightmares.
What's a hollow stone?
She will show you. The hollow stone is a landmark here. It's a fairly large... Excuse me. Fairly large, smooth boulder that's just next to the river with a sort of naturally carved basin inside it. And locals claim that if you sleep beside it during the new moon, it will grant you clear dreams for a month. However, she claims that it's speaking and causing nightmares. She sort of looks at you and, I've tried all the traditional remedies. I've surrounded it with salt. I've tried to lay it to rest with mugwort and milkweed, and nothing.
Make it tastier.
He'll smile and... no, it's well, it's an herbalist's trick to keep spirits at bay. Sorry, Myra Vela, at your service. I'm the town herbalist, and I'm often consulted for magical understanding, though frankly I have very little. I only know a couple of cantrips.
I'll have your seasonings helped.
Sorry, Rico, make me laugh. She will say,
Pietro's being dead serious.
I perhaps, I may have prevented it from, this spirit from entering the village. Perhaps, or perhaps not. Truth be told, I have no way of knowing.
Is this why you were throwing salt in the river?
I feared that perhaps it was the water itself as opposed to the stone that had began these whispers, and it didn't work with...
I'm sure your intentions were good, but you may be harming the life in the river, as they do not like salt as much as you and I, and
I don't think
they're not adapted to it.
I don't think but 2 teaspoons full of salt will turn our fresh water to seawater, though I do take your understanding. The fish here are vital to the survival of the village. It is the most common livelihood here. It's being a fisherman. And that is part of the reason that the locals have asked me to look into this.
Well, we do have a bit of magical knowledge about us. Perhaps we can look at your stone and see what we can determine is going on, if anything.
Yeah. What do you want to do? This stone is about 3.5 foot in height. So you cannot see over the edge, but you could climb into it.
Short people problems.
You need a hand? I gotta pick you up.
Yes! Would you give me a ride, Toothy?
I'm just gonna lift you up. But
okay.
Yeah, you can come up on my shoulders if you want. Hold on, I gotta put my my banner down.
As you peer in to Corrie, you will see like do you know when water sometimes runs on stone and sometimes doesn't? You get that sort of marbling, silvery effect of multiple colors as bits of ore or natural ground are revealed within the stone. The whole bottom is marbled like that. It's a bit like mother of pearl and copper and in green and orange all the way across the bottom, making for a beautiful spectacle. And you see that a tiny bit of water sort of trickles through it, which obviously is what caused this basin-like effect, as a small hole is at either side of the stone where the water can flow through naturally. Looks pretty. About that.
Can I do like an investigation on it and see if I know anything? Oh god, I don't want to investigate.
The more you look at it, the more you know this is a natural phenomenon, and whilst there's plenty of sort of what's it called when you don't like the number 13? Local superstitions. That's the word I was looking for, yeah. There are plenty of local superstitions about objects like this. For the most part, they're just slightly unusual natural items. As you are looking, you may give me a perception check.
That is an 18.
Yeah, you see a slight milky white tendril in the water itself, in the reeds. That doesn't look completely natural. And sorry, is this stone like down in the water or like just next to the river? Sort of, if you imagine, it's nestled like here. So that the bottom of it, where the 2 holes are, is just below the water's level. The reeds are obviously like in the water, and like the milky tendril is like right in the middle. So, water looks about 10 foot deep at the center, shallowing out to about 2.5, 3 feet at the edge of the water.
Yeah, I've been walking around on it, just looking down.
Great. In that case, Vel'zekiss, you will also notice this sort of 3 or 4 different tendrils. It almost looks like smoke beneath the water. That'd probably be a Deep Crimson song. Yes, you'll notice these tendrils moving around. It definitely looks unnatural.
I think you mean either Deep Purple or King Crimson.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Indeed.
I'd like them to join up to do a song as Deep Crimson. That would be cool.
Smoke beneath the water, exactly.
Smoke underwater.
Yes. Good, I'm glad the references came. Anyway, Vel'zekiss and Corrie can both see this.
Do you have an idea what that is, Corrie? There is something in the water.
Seems unnatural, but I've never seen it before. Perhaps we get Toothy to poke it?
You can give me a religion check, Corrie.
Okay.
As you inspect this white tendriness.
25.
That's a big inspect. Yeah, you. It looks a bit like a sort of unformed ghost. It is a very similar sort of white etherealness to a ghost.
And it's in the water?
It's under the water in the reeds.
How deep under the water?
So
just
the
in the
water
reeds,
is,
like a few,
10 feet
like
in depth at the middle, and the reeds sort of won't move all the way out, so it goes from 2.5 feet to 10 feet, and it's moving all the way up to the shore and all the way back, but specifically in this area next to the stone.
Well, I took Shape Water. I replaced one of my cantrips with Shape Water recently.
One of the best cantrips in the game. Love it.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping to. I know Joe loves Shape Water.
Go for it. I looked. You can poke.
I was just gonna say, can I sort of poke and sort of like move the water around the area that this milky white thing is sort of.
Whichever way you do it, it seems like the smoky texture is trying to reach the stone.
Interesting.
I know this might be an awkward question, but has anyone died near the river recently?
Sort of sighs and not quite this close, but the bridge that crosses to Jewel. There's an old mill up there. It was just a place of execution. There's a gallows there. Prisoners of war were executed. Just
Why the miller?
sorry, Rico.
Go for it.
Why the miller?
Why
Did
the
this happen?
mill?
Yes.
I don't know. It's always said to be haunted, abandoned. Rumors that go with it. It hasn't been active for a long, long time. Perhaps it was just an out-of-the-way place.
So I at least suspect that there might be a being here, somewhat akin to a ghost. But for it to be drawn to the stone, I would imagine there would be a strong connection to it. A random execution up the river, I don't know, would draw it here, unless the stone has something more to it.
She will say, perhaps it seeks peaceful dreams. Stone gives. Only at the new moon.
But did we say as they came in that they've been having bad dreams lately, or did I?
She did say
make that
that
up? Okay.
they've been having nightmares, where normally this village is renowned for having peaceful dreams because they all spend time by the stone that gives peaceful dreams. They've all been having nightmares recently. It's caused a lot of trouble. And
Which we're not exactly sure is like 100%.
They all believe it.
They all believe it, and so it's like it could be placebo. It could be that the stone's magical.
James has not decided. We'll see what you do. No. There's definitely some grain of truth to the rumor. She will say that even passers-by who come to the village and sleep in the tavern, knowing nothing about the stone, often speak of the positive and peaceful dreams they had in the village. Whether they are attributed to this stone or not, she's not so sure, but she definitely believes there's something about the village that usually brings peaceful dreams, And the fact that people are having nightmares is really quite terrifying for them, because a lot of these people have never experienced a nightmare.
I want to see if this proto ghost is enough of a creature that I can freeze the water that it's wisping through. Like if it is a creature, I can't.
Yeah, you can freeze the water in a block, and then you'll see it sort of snake through, recreating the water within the ice. It is definitely a creature.
Ooh.
There's enough of an entity about it that it prevents the freezing of the water.
One other thing you will notice is the current is quite strong at the bottom of the river, but stops almost completely just above it. It's very still, the water in the middle.
Okay, so another weird idea now that we talked about cantrips got me thinking. So one of the things with the Holy Lantern is I can immediately know if a hostile creature enters the light or starts its turn there. Can I turn on my lantern?
And there is no hostility to this creature whatsoever. In
Okay.
fact, it almost seems to seek your light.
So now we've got to help it, do we?
Can't you just put it to rest with some ritual or something?
Seems what I do.
Piggybacking off your 25, Corrie, which I don't even think was a particularly good roll for you, was it? It's just...
No, it's just my religion is ridiculous
it's
now.
They changed the way clerics work. Yeah, you gained a 6 in the change to 24 cleric, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, you know that whilst laying a spirit to rest is something that all clerics can do, it's a hell of a lot easier if you've got a body. And usually if a spirit is in such a randomized location, they've either got something that they're holding on to close by, you know, like you said, a strong connection to the stone, etc., or their body is close by.
This mill, how far is it?
Mill? Oh. Let me consult the map. It is at the bridge, so 18 and a half miles. Yeah, it's not close. It's not. Yeah. Corrie was on the right thought when, you know, sort of random mill quite a long way away. Might not be relevant.
I thought it might have been like over the hill over there.
No, long way up, a long way.
Well, I could perhaps try to grab a hold of the ghost creature itself and just transport it up onto the land, but it seems to have some affinity with the water, and apparently we're on its side now, so...
What do you mean we're on its side?
Not hostile to us.
Happy with me if I just sort of air drowned some sort of water spirit.
Don't do that. So we're looking for a body, is what you're saying, Corrie.
I think so. Though I don't know where we would begin a search.
She looks to you and a lot of bodies wash down the river. The current's very strong at its bottom. One of the local fishermen dredges. Should I ask him to come and have a look with you?
Is he good?
He's a good man. He used to be one of the river guard.
Then yes.
To the south. He now repairs nets. And she will go and get Yorin Delmare, who is a blue Dragon Ball. And when he arrives, he was sort of... What seems to be the problem?
Pietro will just point at the milky white thing in the water.
Something strange in the current. Usually catching fish, not whatever that is.
Well, we suspect it's emanating from a body of some sort, and although we can try to follow it around, you were suggested as someone who's good at trolling the bottoms.
Yes, I have dredge nets. Let me get them. and he'll go back to his home, and then he'll come out with these sort of 2 thick poles and a completely separately. He'll come out with another blue dragonborn who's clearly his son, and then he'll come out with 2 thick poles that have sort of a net affixed to them. The net is made of sort of thin links of metal, and there's a sort of, the poles are sharpened, and you can see that they also there's a sort of wheel at the side that allows them to sort of wheel it down the river, and the 2 of them will, one of them will cross over. His son literally just jumps in the water, swims across, comes at the other side, and they'll drive the poles down into the water, and then they'll use this wheel to on each side to very, very slowly pull through the bottom, and then they stop. Whatever it is very large. Can you help? He mostly
I can help.
Toothy. Yes.
Yeah, good on there.
Yeah. Even with Toothy's full assistance, though, whatever this is too big for a net.
But like, has this narrowed its location? Like, they
Yes.
understand where
So it's pretty much directly under this white milky liquid.
okay.
In the muck at the bottom of the river. He's saying it's too large. We cannot pull it out. It's like a boat or something.
Well, obviously, like, the limits to what moving the water around means are sort of
Push them
flexible.
to their
or
extreme.
whatever, but-
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, so with the tide stone, I can affect 10-foot cubes instead of 5-foot cubes.
Sick.
So, like, between that and multiple uses of it going at
Pietro,
once, I
perhaps?
should be able to. Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Pietro can certainly help now that he has.
We should be able to
Absolutely, you
sort
could
of
force
Moses
the
the
water
water a little
underneath
bit,
it,
you know?
exactly, yeah, and then spread it out and force it underneath and spread it out again. And what you will see is a corpse. This body is 25 foot in height, and is very clearly the body of a giant. Does anybody have giant as a listed language? Knows anything about
Primordial.
giants? Fantastic. In that case, anybody with an int of 12 or higher can give me a nature check. Sorry, idiots.
Dirty 20 for me.
Cool.
Natural one.
I saw the rolls. Vel'zekiss, you do remember reading a little bit about giants when you were traveling into the South Country. They rarely come that close to human civilization. But what this is a frostmourne. And they often shaman-like frost giants who have pilgrimages that they may go on. And it's clear this one didn't make it, and his body is washed down river. Now that you have a body, Corrie, and its ghost, you could do really whatever you want with it. Do you have Speak with Dead?
I don't think so.
Did you guys get an item that lets you speak with the dead once a day, like a stone of Speak with
Ooh.
Dead or something? That happened? Or was
Actually,
that a
yes,
different
I might
campaign?
have that item.
Okay, cool.
I feel like I got that
I've got too many
from.
campaigns. I never know which one the items are in. So you could have a chat with it, or you can just attempt to let it rest. Or
Yeah. I've got 3 charges on this stone. Let's have a little chat.
as you reach down to this huge giant, the body can get dredged out now with the net and pulled out to the side, so that you have the whole body to the side. And looking at it, it decays more quickly in water, but you would guess it to be at least a week old. And didn't work. We don't have any sound, do we?
Just stopped.
It just stopped, yeah.
Yeah, I played the new one. It just didn't do anything. Let's try something else. There we go. You absolutely can go through this ritual. I mean, the stone will allow you to cast it fairly simply, but how do you envision Corrie's process? Is there any sort of respectful gestures?
I think, well, I mean, given that it's a giant, it'd be difficult for him to do anything with it, just given his size. Like, in my mind, he would want to make sure that it was, like, in a comfortable position, not, like, all sprayed about and, like, you know, crossed over, like at least like laying comfortably flat on the ground before he tried to do anything. And then he would just kind of approach the head of the giant to kind of speak to it face to head sort of thing. Like, obviously there's a different of scale, but to him, like, it would be as respectful as possible of like just holding a conversation with it.
Yeah, and you'll see that this giant sort of, his chin sort of tips down onto his chest. You see his jaw is a little unhinged, but he's still got the ability to form words, and he says, "Thank you, traveler."
I'm sorry to ask this of you, but what happened that you ended up in this river dead at the bottom of it?
Man
happened. Where
was attacked on my pilgrimage. I wore the sacred band.
Did they take the sacred band from you?
I know not what they did with my belongings after my death.
Where were you attacked?
Passing to the south. Just the bridge by Giol. A war band they were.
Anything else? Anybody suggest that I ask? I haven't spoken with many dead.
Like, who is this warband? How many of them were there?
Yeah. The name.
How many were in the war band, and did they have any distinctive markings?
Fell to over 30 men. They wore 3-0, yes. They wore armor with the silver dragon to the river. And just because there is no way you would know this, our good friend Myra Vela will kindly pipe up and go, "That's the armor of the river guard." They are the city guard of Jewel.
Okay. Asking her then, would it be common for the city guard to attack someone on a pilgrimage?
They've been under disarray, and it is a very large giant. They may have been frightened.
I would be.
Being frightened of something you don't understand doesn't give you the right to kill it.
Hey, man. Speak, priest. Preach. Boxxo just nodding in the corner going, "Yes! Yes!" Hands to the sky. How many questions do you get for Speak with Dead? Is it 3 or 5? 5, right?
5.
Yeah, cool. You've asked 3.
I think that was it.
Have we asked 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
You asked her 2 questions.
Yep.
If you asked him, what were the guards like, what killed you, and where was it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it might have been 4 with the way that I structured it, but I don't really have anything else that I can think to ask. I guess the last one then would be how would you like to be put to rest? How could I help your spirit be at ease?
Seek peace. My own accord. But my quest is unfulfilled.
How may we fulfill your quest?
Let's hope this was the last question that you only asked for. Yes,
Yeah.
he will sort of rumble out a stone stones must go to the sea. And he will sort of inform you that basically he had a bag of sacred stones, a clutch of sacred stones that were lost in his battle with this god. These stones contain the ruins of his people, and they are casting out a demon from their midst. Would have taken me forever to say that in his voice. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's good. I was worried it was this stone that gives the people good dreams, and we were going to have to haul it away.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, you have to get rid of that stone.
No, he will have mentioned somewhere along, the stone by my feet gave me rest in the darkness. I would be buried near it if you would. Because that would technically have answered the question. Question 4. How would you like to be put to peace?
Yeah, because I'm just like, what do we do with a giant body now? Like,
you cast Molder. That's how that works.
Can I do this? But it will take some time. He's a very large.
I will be in your debt. Oh, sorry, I'm out of questions. His face goes back down, D&D movie style. He's done. Yeah.
Nope.
But the stones must go to the sea, and you would assume that they would be somewhere up near the bridge or the mill. I don't think it would take you that long. Do you have Mold Earth, Pietro?
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, it takes like 6 castings. Doesn't Mold Earth cost 6 seconds? It's just an action, right?
Yeah, it's an action.
So it's a minute to bury this guy. I think you'll be alright. To get like 30 feet to excavate, and I suppose a second minute to put all the earth back.
5 for cube,
Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
She will sort of say, "Oh,
Call it 20 minutes.
a cairn for a giant built on town. Shall have it done. You've done me a great service."
But it is some confirmation of the stone's power.
Yes, thanks,
Nope.
please. I will gladly offer you discount on any of my wares. Did you have any need for herbs?
Indeed, I do wish to purchase from you if that would be all right.
She'll give you 50% off.
Heck yeah.
If anybody else is interested in what she sells, it is a bunch of herbs and ingredients. I gave them to Mark before the session so that at this moment we didn't have to wait for him to read the whole document. But those are the other 2 stores in Corvath are the Dusted Lily, which is a tavern where you can take some food if you wish, and there is also Odd Bars Exchange, which is basically like a general store come couriers come like a regular trade place that looks like it services the village. There's nothing particularly exciting. But yeah, Mark, you're more than welcome to just remove the gold, take the stuff.
Yep.
Use the dump loot or your own inventory, whichever you prefer. She will.
I'm good on that.
You're an alchemist, are you?
I am somewhat of an alchemist. I don't possess much skill. We were actually traveling with a young lady who was much better at it than I, but I know a few things.
It's all in the learning. I could potentially teach you something.
I am always happy to learn.
Given the given the nature of you sort of putting them to rest, he will show you a potion called Passing Memory. So basically, this powerful elixir stores one of the creator's memory within the elixir and allows somebody else to take it, and she will say it's in the spirit of the passing of another creature. And she will also tell you how to make it. And the 2 ingredients required for this are silver hibiscus leaf and amanita cap.
Okay.
And it must be stirred at night slowly, and water must be added sort of every minute or two while you stir it for about 30 minutes.
Oh.
It's a DIY pensive. I have no idea what you're going to do with it, but it's yours now. Do as you please. But yeah, is there anything anybody wants to do in the town? Do you guys want to stop for some lunch, or are we just going to head on to the mill?
I think I'm okay.
Okay. The journey to the
Very
mill
pleasant.
is 20 miles of fairly abandoned ground. If 'twas ever a place to pop up a tower, the East Bank is pretty abandoned and will be far enough away that nobody will be able to see should you wish to explore that.
So I did want to say, as we left the town, just got back in the cart and running the cart, and then having just had the talk about the alchemy stuff. It looks like I am carrying the necklace of sending to Eileen.
Mm.
And I just I wanted to use, it's like 3 charges a day. It's not that limited. So I just wanted to use one of it to just sort of send a message to her and just thought you should know we've left town. We're just past Korvath. Certainly let us know if there's any major problems with your cousin or aunt or whoever.
Thank you, I'll do so. It's interesting here. Did my first carving. It was awful. So she's actually did a soap carving. It was crap, but she's having fun.
Good.
Cool. Back to
Figured if it turned out that her aunt was a witch or whatever, like she could let us know, we could go back quick.
It'll probably be placed on the shelf alongside Corrie's creations in a discount bundle. But yes.
Oh wait, I just realised that we're going upstream.
Yes.
And the giant. Did we organise the giant stones to go down to the ocean?
You haven't got the giant stones. You need to get to the mill first.
We have to find the stones.
Oh, they're at the mill. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
that's
at least
that's where he was attacked.
Yes.
Okay, they were lost there. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you do have 20 miles of open road should you wish to stop at any point and pop up towers. Is that something you guys would want to do, or are you waiting till you get into the west?
Vel'zekiss wants to use his sort of leadership of the cart to some degree to, for even though we would maybe normally push on, to just casually stop while it's definitely still sunlight out.
Absolutely fine.
What's happening over there, Vel'zekiss? Is there another crazy woman in the road?
It seems that we're not going to make it tonight, so we may as well stop comfortably while we can make camp and so forth in the sunlight.
Is it not even dark yet?
Not entirely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. On the way here. Oh, do I not have art for this? Okay.
Just a brief respite, perhaps. I suppose if it seems we should move on, we could move on. But I'm sure Corrie would like to make some sort of snack or something.
I could make us dinner.
Pietro will pull out his chronal sphere and say, "It's about lunchtime, so this is acceptable to me."
And then I'll just wander to like a space, a sensible area off the side of the road, I guess. And then I'm just gonna get this staff thing out here. What does it say I actually have to do? I think it is plant in the ground, right? Yeah, place it on the ground. And using a command word. Do I know a specific command word? Saying I say it.
I think we did establish that somewhere.
Well, we don't have to figure it for sure right now, but
Ishastar. No, you established the command word. There you go.
Oh.
So it's up to you. What do you want the command word to be? That's me.
Oh,
Why don't I do that? That sounds dangerous.
almost feel like it should just be hilariously stupid, real-worldy, dumb show magic, like abracadabra or something.
Oh yeah, I like that. I thought you were going to go for like, what's it called? Like pineapples or something, like real wordy nothingness. But I like
seeing
that.
as I don't have 6 hours of time to spend on Google Translate trying to figure out which combination of languages I've used for influencing this character's magic, I think it should just maybe be Presto.
Presto. I like
Press
that.
Tower. It's Press Tower.
Press Tower.
Yeah, why not?
More importantly, I just want to suddenly yell, "Oh no! Wait, you're right. We shouldn't have stopped while it was still sunlight," and then blast the tower into existence and see if
that's hilarious.
Get Toothy's attention. Toothy, you were right to be worried.
And so you do that?
Yeah.
I go, oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
But yes, this is
What the fuck
walls.
did you do?
Rising out of the ground, slowly but surely, is a tall tower. It has parapets at the top and windows certain points on the way down. And at the front of it is a large iron door.
This is no
adamantine and ruby.
This is no tumbling down half-built church. Everything's fine.
This is impressive, in fact.
What is this?
Come now, Toothy. It's a staff we found before.
Just to let you know, the dimensions are a little wrong on the image because the tower is in fact 60 foot in diameter and 120 foot in height. It can grow taller, but right now it is only 60 by 120. So technically it's quite squat, 120 is quite tall, but it's just wider than that. That looks like a simple, but it's a nice image, so I'm going to keep it that image.
The cathedral seat is perfectly safe as far as I know. I'm not even the one carrying it. This is a staff tower.
That's true.
Boxxo's
carrying it.
You mean that's the thing that we found?
Yes, I found it.
No wonder why people lost.
What do we do with this?
But.
We sleep in it and work in it and impress people with it.
And impress people.
Pietro right now is just feeling up the walls and he's sort of just inspecting the work. He's sort of not paying attention to any conversation that's going on.
It makes no sense. It is not made of any material that should be buildable. It is made of adamantine. It is made of actual ruby. It is made of stone and pressed glass all around it. It's too smooth to have been created by any form of bricks. And yet patterns have been put on the outside to make it look nice. It is clearly created by magic and magic alone.
I would like to climb it.
That is impossible. Because the wall is so smooth, it would be like trying to climb a pane of glass. It's not possible.
Then I will walk up it
Yes,
with my slippers and spider climbing.
Yeah, you expect that to work. You get about 5 or 6 feet up, and then you just slide down like you're cleaning a window.
Oh, so lame.
The tower has its own protections. You won't be complaining it's lame when you guys are inside and it's being assaulted and no one can climb the outside.
I will be complaining it's lame.
Can I attempt to open
I will.
When you go to the door,
or does the caster have to do it?
It requires a bonus action to open, but I believe it still opens only at your command, which you can issue as a bonus action. It is immune to knock and similar magic. The servant may designate multiple owners or people who can open it, but at the present time, it is only Vel'zekiss. It is his building and his door.
Just going to stare at it, or shall we enter?
I mean, I thought You might admire it for a moment, at least. We need to get a sense of what it's going to feel like to various simpletons in towns all about the world.
I pet Vel'zekiss on the back. It's a very nice tower. Just kind of keep my hand there on his back.
Will we need like permits for it?
Temporary structure. You don't need no permits.
I think if the inspectors come calling, we'll collapse it and just go somewhere else.
I feel like
Go ahead.
I feel like everything before I could almost wrap my head around, like the magic and the enemies. But this is there's no words.
Well, stop trying to wrap your head around it and put your entire self inside it. And I'll open the door.
Yeah, and when you step in, it is wholly underwhelming. It is quite clear that the dimensions on the inside don't necessarily represent the dimensions on the outside. This is a completely empty floor with a simple staircase that goes up to the right, and another staircase that is a spiral staircase that goes down into the basement. That's it.
You forget to furnish this tower.
As you say that, you will hear a sort of heavy coming up the stairs, and a golem will approach you. He looks to you, and I am the servant. At your command and disposal. You summoned the tower. He looks to Vel'zekiss. Are these allies of yours? He gestures towards everybody else.
Vel'zekiss looks around really slowly. Yes, for the moment they're all entitled to be within.
Excellent. I have many purposes. It has been a while since the tower has been erected. And within, you find yourself in the Tower of Ishastar. This tower
We'll have to do something about that name.
He is its creator, not its owner. The tower can be improved over time. I can facilitate this downstairs in the basement, from the Sensual Sapphire. You may request anything you need, but there is a cost. Expanding. A cost in gold, of course. Right now, there is a simple bedroom on the first floor, ready for your use. Anything else may be discussed. You may furnish it with your own furnishings as you please, but without paying the appropriate upgrade costs, this furnishings may move around in all manner of disarray whilst you travel with the tower collapsed. Appropriate storage rooms may be used to place such random items.
And are we using the British interpretation of first floor?
Oh, Jesus. Yes, okay. So I will not be able to operate in any other form, so we'll have to go with mine, I'm afraid.
Yep.
So you have the ground floor, or entry floor.
Yep.
Okay? Everything above that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the basement is the basement is the basement, right? We're all in agreement with the basement. So you just need to know there's an entry floor. There's currently got fuck all on it, except a staircase up and a staircase down. And a door.
Sometimes it's nice to still be considered a colony almost.
You also use the ground floor.
Yeah.
What do Canadians do, Mr. Canadian Building Inspector guy?
So ground floor is sort of reserved usually for like high-rise buildings. Like a house would have I'm on my first floor. I'm not on the ground floor of my house. But if you're if you're going to be building some sort of like hotel or apartment building, then your ground level floor is your ground level floor, and then it would go up 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we tend not to bother with ground or up or first or second or anything in a house. We just call it upstairs and downstairs. So it's nice and simple. So shall look at you, and who do I have the pleasure of addressing?
I am Vel'zekiss.
Vel'zekiss. Is that what I should call you?
I think so. Unless you have something more suitably grand, I suppose.
How about Mr. Humble?
Some owners have claimed the title of Master, Lord, Wizard, Sorcerer. Some simply by their name.
I think my name will come to be synonymous with these sorts of accolades.
Good. A previous owner was Master Federicus, the Blue Wizard of the Third Reich, and that was quite confusing. Third right is what I meant to say. I'm so sorry. That was a terrible slip of the tongue.
What's out?
I was thinking of the Overlord guy, and then my brain just farted sideways. Third right, Master Fedicus. Anyway, he was saying that was quite a mouthful.
We pretend he didn't exist.
That is excellent. I do that on a regular basis.
Well, certainly we need to improve the entry area to something suitably to provide the necessary sense of awe. But for the moment, I suppose it's just shelter. Shall we look upstairs?
Sure will. So back to the ground floor, you'll find that it's completely empty, and it all has this sort of like simple. Like grey stonework floor, grey stonework walls, as you imagine the inside of a stone tower might seem, even though the outside was quite clearly adamantine. As you go up the staircase, which again is grey stone, slab stones, quite wide, you could sort of walk up all side by side up the stairs, and you will find a single area as being closed off, a bit like a slice of a pie, but not quite to a point. It's more sort of like a segment. And that entrance has a simple door. When you enter in, you will find a cramped bedroom, much akin to the room of an inn, with a single bed, a chest, a single sort of storage closet, a little window with a set of curtains that can be drawn over it, and a wash basin. Looking out of the window, you will see that it does indeed look out over where you have erected the tower. And the servant will explain the way the dimensions work. We can expand to outdoor areas that will pop up as and when you create the tower. These can include courtyards, stables, or simply balconies or viewing points. But do be aware that a creation of a balcony or otherwise outside accessible area on the inside will lessen the defenses of the tower. In my opinion, it is best to keep a single entry point.
Certainly for now.
And he would explain at least the basic prices, which I don't know if you guys are on the document, but there is... Oh, I'd never format sweat on Roll20, but that is the very simple, basic stuff. The document, I think, is pinned, but if it is not, I will pin it. It gives you all the details of all the upgrades and such.
Mr. Servant, sir, you mentioned a cost in gold.
Just to the servant.
What do you do with the gold?
It is consumed.
Is that your food?
No, I can subsist with nothing at all. The way the master structured it was, the gold is teleported to some place. The magic is... and in return, I know not where that place is.
Straight into the man's pocket.
The original creator of the tower died long ago. He did not die in this tower, but in one very similar to it. I know not the location of the other towers anymore.
Right. New quest. We're going to find that tower to get Boxxo like a hoard of money so that he can buy his house.
You mean every upgrade that's ever been made on any of the 12 towers, wherever that gold is?
Yep.
We can have our own tower.
What if I told you you'd been there?
I tell you, you're a dirty little liar.
Look to you. I understand that it seems odd, you giving away your gold for something that doesn't cost gold. For me to provide it as somebody who doesn't need gold, but I'm afraid it is the way the tower works.
No, I get it. It's like when you cast magic, there needs to be some stuff involved sometimes.
Indeed. The material cost, one might call it.
Yeah.
And Vel'zekiss, these non-hostile entities that travel with you, should I address them by name? Should I simply call them 1, 2, 3, and 4? He will point to each of them.
The names simply. It's easier to figure out who you're speaking to.
He will process the introductions, and then he will look to you, Toothy, and say, "You have a quick grasp of it, Toothy."
Thanks.
What it is worth, Oh, actually, is that true? Hold on, before I lie to you, let me just double-check my copy. I cannot travel more than 100 feet from the tower. I will find myself instantaneously teleported back into the basement.
Don't worry, we're going to be moving the entire tower.
That is the aim.
Do we need to protect you?
No. Though I will protect the tower, not you.
Oh.
Should it come under attack.
I'm gonna ask, can you protect us?
Yes. He will protect the tower, but he will not protect you directly. My loyalty is first and foremost to the tower.
What are you made of? Just like rubbing him.
I know there was much adamantine and black steel in my creation, but many gems, runes, and magics were added beyond that.
Fascinating. Yes.
I believe that even... Well, he won't say I believe. He will say, I have been distracted before, multiple times. I reappear downstairs in the basement next to the central sapphire after approximately 24 hours.
So it's like the heart.
If I was prone to contemplation, I might say that it means I may not be real. But I am not.
You're real. I touch him.
I meant that I am not prone to contemplation.
I don't mean you're not real.
You may philosophize over that at your leisure. Do you require an expansion?
We all want our own bedroom. I don't like to share personally.
How's that armor fund, Toothy? It would cost you 400 gold pieces to turn it into 5 cramped bedrooms. It would cost an additional 500 gold pieces to make Vel'zekiss' bedroom larger. Not 900 gold between you. No, I'm kidding. Difficult, isn't it? Because there is fundamentally no benefit whatsoever to getting your own bedroom. And yet, it is a really tempting thing to spend money on.
On my own fucking bedroom, man.
I mean, you can just...
I'll be happy with my bedroll on the ground floor.
Sleep aboard the cart as we've done on the ground as we've done in previous nights.
Is there a fireplace?
That can be arranged. Within any of the
Does that cost
bedrooms,
money?
or the dining room, or the parlour. You must create a room for it.
Let's create the parlor and I'll sleep there.
Yeah, that would be sort of a living area, central living area parlour. Not the sort of parlour that is like a pantry.
So, does the entrance room always stay the entrance room, or does some of this stuff take over that space?
You can decide if you want... Oh, so you can put stuff on the ground floor, all around it. You can decide if you want the door to open into your parlour, into your storage room, or still into the area and then have the other rooms stored off. You can pretty much do whatever you like with it.
So
Right,
we
'cause
can
it can
build it
expand
in a
that way,
video
not-
game.
Yeah.
Well, there's also, you can add floors indefinitely, right? So the inside dimensions can expand.
How do you feel about the rooftop as far as security is concerned?
Which can be expanded. 400 gold pieces, which might then contain an observatory, etc. I believe that the tower is unscalable, and should one arrive by flight, they will find themselves repelled by force. There is a small force field over the top, like a bubble.
Perfect.
Where?
Is that your first expansion? The roof. You can sleep up there.
Not immediately, but I like the idea of just standing on the roof.
On the first, well, you can do that already. On the first floor, you will see a very, very, very tall ladder, which when you start climbing, you'll realize is nowhere near as tall as it looks. And you'll pop up, and there's a little trapdoor that opens out into just a flat stone space with the parapets. So you can stand on top of your tower and command others, some butterflies and eagles, or watch the building of Isengard.
I mean, one of the stupid little items I bought at the very beginning of the game was the Make You Loud stone, right? Whatever it's called. So I'll just stand on top of the tower and yell to everybody.
Yes, he will tell you that the force bubble does allow you to exit, just not enter. So should you wish to leap from your tower in a glorious act of flight, you may do so.
Try not to roll off. No, I mean, like, as far as I'm concerned, we don't need to. We can certainly go to one more town and see if we have the money and armor is available before we decide to start wasting that money.
Yeah.
But if we like leave and head out across territory and we know that there's not going to be any place to buy armor for $1 million,
we're not gonna get to armor that with the gold before we set off on that adventure.
100% guaranteed. And I think you guys, perhaps not Toothy, the rest of you would know that. You're a good 600 or 700 gold short of the armor, and not only that, you're not going to a place big enough to have an armor smith capable of doing that sort of creation. Was Jack's suggestion to create the parlor, which was a sort of like a living space with a lot of you, potentially with a hearth? Was that something somebody said yes, but I don't know whether you guys were like, yes, let's do that, or whether it was a let's think about it.
Well, I think it's a good idea to have sort of one communal space that's nice first.
I do have a question for the servant. In the unlikely event that our friend Vel'zekiss here perishes, does this tower revert back to the default, or will it continue to have any upgrades that we put into it?
That is up to Vel'zekiss.
Because like if we spend like thousands of gold on this, and then Joe has to roll a new character.
I'm pretty sure Joe will want it to persist.
Am I asked the question on my way to the afterlife? Like, so I have to set the preferences now.
Well, it will reverse to form unless you specify otherwise to the servant. He will say that if you designate multiple owners, then it is not until all of those have perished, or effectively the tower is left unattended for over 50 years.
Could I instead designate sort of a line of succession so they're not owners yet?
You may designate other people who may enter at their will.
Well, I'm not going to die tonight. We'll think about it.
But yeah, if you were to create a party, you can create anything you like, but it would be something akin to what I've posted in Discord. Somewhere with a bit of it would be a smaller version of, because it's the cramped version. But you'd have space for 5 of you to sit around a table and eat. There'd be a hearth, there'd be a little a couch, a little fireplace, etc. You may decorate it as you wish and spend hours and hours or mere seconds pondering over these decisions, however you guys please, over the entirety of the campaign. He will say that I can redecorate the room pretty much at will once it is created. So should you wish to change the color of the walls, or have a different chair or something, or add your own, like if you were to find a nice chair you liked in a town, you could bring it in and place it in the parlor, and it would remain in the parlor as is.
Right, as long as it's a parlor type thing and we've paid for the parlor, it will stay the way.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not strictly a parlor type thing, there's not that much space. You can't start putting 6 double beds in here, so yeah. Actually, so if you want to dunk 50 gold into it, you can have a nice evening in a parlor. It provides no help whatsoever.
Up to Vel'zekiss.
Well, I mean, I've got 41 on my person. I'll use all of it if I need to, but
I have
I think
about
we should
100
partner
and something. Yeah.
Well, if we are all in agreement, then we can take it out of the group. But
Is anybody standing against it?
Boxxo.
Cool. I will lower your group loot by 50 gold. 805. Have a parlor. Joe, do you want to customize the item with notes, or do you want a handout in Roll20 that lists the contained rooms that you can edit? I understand when it's one parlor, it's not hard to keep track of, but when we have 2 sacristies, 2 sanctuaries, 4 workshops, 8 bedrooms, we might be in a bit of a pickle.
yeah, I'm sort of surprised at myself saying this, but I think it might be easier in Roll20.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just something you can freely edit instead of complications. Yeah. Tower of Ishastar. Nope, that's just me. All players.
Servant's pretty beefy.
Yeah, he's about 10 foot tall. He's got an armor class of 22.
Wow.
He knows what he's doing. Cool. Apparently says 1 cramped bedroom, parlor. It's about 5 o'clock in the evening. Do we want to simply languish in our tower overnight and then head out to the mill the following morning? Or will you pop it down, head out to the mill, and then pop it back up later in the evening?
Yeah, I can't remember. Is it? I was assuming it's kind of like limited, but you can just pop it whenever you want.
If you fail to create the tower, it is not usable until the following day.
Why would you fail to create the tower?
If you try and put it in a space where there's not enough space to create the tower, or where it cannot be created because of unsteady ground or other buildings.
Interesting.
Yeah, if it is unharmed, it can be collapsed and rebuilt at will. In the situation that it is destroyed, the external tower, it takes quite a long time to revive, rebuild. I see no real advantage to being able to pop it up and down all that massively.
Yeah, it just saves us from the constant, well, are we ready to put it up for the day and never be able to go anywhere else? Yeah, well, if we're all suitably impressed and my silly little practical joke on Toothy is satisfied, if you'd like to continue riding down the road, or what serves for almost a road at this part, a bit longer, I'm not against it.
You think we can probably make it to, oh fuck, what's the name of the place we're going? Corvath?
You could make it to the mill. You're already in Corvath.
Too dark to look for stones.
You could make it to the mill by approximately 6 p.m. Before sunset. Maybe 7 p.m. actually. You've probably been here for a little while. And then you could pop the tower up just a little way away from the mill, spend the night, and then head into Jill the following day.
That's good.
Unless you decide to turn back and go all the way to Metella to put the stones in the sea. Available. Probably
once we get the stones.
We'll just build a little boat and hope it makes it.
I'm pretty sure. I was pretty sure that is the method you would take.
Like Moses.
Yeah, exactly that. I was almost certain that is the method you guys would take. So yeah, you guys can head out onto the road and make your way up to the mill. How are we doing for time? I think that's a good place to take a short break. Be right back.
Cool.
Okay, welcome back to the second half of Elsewhither. After a little journey, you can see up on the hill a mill.
Oh my god.
Thing's scary as fuck.
Seen better days.
It is clearly abandoned. It has been like that.
I think someone executed the mill itself.
This a giant. He say that this is where he was attacked.
He said he was attacked at the bridge, which is a little down the hill from here. But you would reach the mill before the
probably.
bridge, so I think it'd be, do it in order.
May as well.
I have this as a separate image, so I'm going to take you there and then take you back. Perched up on the hill, a little to the side of the mill, is a gallows. It's fairly intact, but the rope is fairly frayed. You would guess that the last execution that happened here was at least a year ago. But not much more than that, whereas the mill looks like it hasn't been used in a couple of centuries.
And there's hasn't been used at all, like.
Well, when you approach,
I don't mean as a mill.
Indeed,
but like
when you approach the mill, you will
sort of,
already note that outside are a few boxes that look very modern, like within the last few days, sort of modern.
Box styles have changed in the last week or so.
No, it's more than there's no dust on them, there's no grass on them, they're very fresh, like they've just been put
These
there.
boxes are very au courant.
Yeah. And then you know they're just outside the entrance to the mill.
Like someone is staying here.
I suppose we might make sure or announce ourselves if we're going to be poking around the property looking for a series of rocks.
Well, perhaps before we present ourselves, Pietro will cast Pass Without Trace on the lot of us in case we want to sneak around a little bit.
Okay. Is that a ritual? Is that an item, or is that a spell slot?
It is actually a racial feature that I can cast one time without expending a spell slot, I believe.
But it's a casting time action. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah. Casting time is an action,
yeah.
sorry.
Fantastic. You do so. How close were you to the mill? Sort of 60, 80 feet away? Just when it first was in sight, like...
When we realized that there were modern boxes hanging out.
Right,
the front
okay. So you at that point, you really were quite close, sort of 50, 60 feet. Okay.
Sure, 50, 60.
Because you would have had to come around to that side. Okay.
Well, are we just looking for the rocks without asking permission if we are sneaky?
I don't know that common travelers would stay in a mill like this and have things, so there might be some nefarious activities going on here. Boxxo, could you get close enough to inspect the boxes and see if there's anything inside of them?
Okay. I'll sneak on up upon these boxes.
Boxxo the box investigator.
Yes.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Stealth.
Perhaps you'd like to unboxo them.
That's a nat 20 for a 31.
Beautiful. Yeah, you sneak right up,
41.
and you can see that they've got these sort of like divots on the side where they've obviously been lifted. That they must contain something quite heavy because they've clearly been lifted with some sort of mechanism, not by hand. Each box is nailed closed.
Can I?
Made of wood. What it's worth. Since they're nailed closed.
Are there any sort of openings in this mill?
Oh, there's a front door.
Further up?
The box
Further
right
up.
next to it. Oh yeah. There's a sort of an old, abandoned sort of window slot with. I mean, it's exactly what you would see. It is that thing there.
Mm-hmm. Can Pietro fly up and sort of?
You want to sneakily fly across open ground? What I'm getting at?
Like I mean, the grass looks relatively tall. Maybe.
So you'll fly like you'll lay flat on the ground and then hover slightly and then and then go up the wall like a snake.
Correct.
Oh my god!
You have never looked more ridiculous in your life, Pietro.
Like we thought this looked like a creepy haunted mill before. Now there's just a rock dude who's just like.
You come literally face the spyglass. You immediately find yourself looking down the wrong end of a spyglass. A small man is holding it. He goes, ah! As soon as you appear in front of his spyglass, millimeters away.
I'll like lower it slightly and get a good look at him.
Yeah, he looks dirty, unkempt, head draggled to one side. He has 3 piercings in his right ear. He looks human or humanish. Sort of simple grey eyes, grimy skin. And as you do that, he sort of looks at you and... What are you?
And me? Who are you and what are you doing here?
My name is Eris. I'm on lookout. You one of the new guys? Why are you outside the window?
I'm floating in the air. You have never met a wizard.
Oh, we're getting wizards now. That's good. Why don't you head down? You must have the password, right?
I'm forgetful, wizards.
They intend not to be very forgetful at all.
Not
and
this one.
he takes a step
Not
back
this
to the
one.
window immediately. And he says, "Got company flying outside the window!"
I will.
And Boxxo. What were you doing with that box?
Well, so Booming Blade doesn't actually say that it makes any noise. Just that it does that damage.
Sure.
So,
you were
I was-
silently booming blade, yes?
Well,
Getting thunder damage. Go on. Speak to me about it.
kinda. I mean, yeah, I was thinking about using my Minder's pick to try and just pick the nails, but I didn't think that would be very useful. So I thought I would just break the
Yeah, you
wood.
would. You don't need to booming blade at all. With your psychic blades, you could just carve down it.
Okay, then I'll just carve a hole.
Yeah. And you pop it open, and you see a series of large gemstones. Give me an investigation check. Probably with advantage, actually, given your
With advantage.
feature, your background feature.
22.
Yeah, these are clearly, they're not even glass, they're like crystal that is being cut to look like gemstones. These are all fakes.
Is it convincing? No. no.
They could be convincing if they were
Layman.
later cut down the
If it was
stone
small.
size, but right now they're balls, right? And no gems really appear like that. They may well make convincing fakes in the long run. But just as you're noting this, the door bursts open and 3 men holding spears come out.
I crawl in the box so they don't see me in the hole that I just cut out.
Yeah, there's no space. It's full up to the brim.
I'm
But it's
pretty
in his name.
wiry.
No, there is no space. It is filled up to the brim. You can try and hide behind the boxes.
Fine, I'll just hide behind it.
Yeah, okay. Give me a stealth check with disadvantage. They are right next to you when the door bursts out.
Plus 10.
Plus what?
Plus another 10 from Pass Without Trace.
Oh, 37.
Sorry.
I rolled double
You
27s.
rolled a 37 with disadvantage. Okay. You disappear into thin mist, never to be seen again. What the fuck is that? Okay. I suppose you do have, a plus 20 or something from your own
I've got,
plus the 10 from Pass Without Trace.
Yeah, I've got a plus 11.
Yes, the rest of you, however, not so lucky. Crawling on the grass or not, it is very clear that you see them, they see you. There's 3 of them, and immediately you'll note that they are wearing silver breastplates with the mark of a silver dragon's wing and a river. They would be the river guard. Pietro, you see the guy behind you the guy in front of you scramble into the middle of the room to pick up what looks like a sort of thin piece of wood with a silver lacquer on the front of it. And then he straps it onto himself. And when he turns, it looks like he's wearing a breastplate with the silver dragon and the on the river, but you 100% saw that it is a wooden back. But you are flying in the air, and all 3 guys are going to turn and throw their spears at you. That is happening.
The guy inside has not come out.
No,
He's still
he
up.
ran into the middle of the room, and he's upstairs, right? He's strapped on his armor, and he's now beginning to go down the stairs. The 3 guys at the bottom are just going to launch 3 spears at you.
Gotcha.
And that's an 8, an 11, and a 10 to hit.
I just dance around in the air.
Yeah, they just, all 3 spears and then just drop down, and they look at you, who are you? And then they look back, they see the other guys, and they're just like, what's going on here? Cedric, you know anything about this? Cedric turns around and goes, they said there was a wizard floating outside the... Not qualified for this. And they all sort of back up against the wall and just sort of drop their spears to the ground. Their shield. Lower their shields. They've thrown their spears. They've got little sort of makeshift short swords or daggers at their hips, and they look around each other. Who are you guys?
I want to say your worst nightmare, but I'm not gonna say that. We seek those that killed a giant not too long ago.
Yeah, that was a stupid plan. Would attack a giant. We lost a lot of men. Our stupid troop. That's why our leaders are out recruiting.
I agree. It probably was not wise to attack a giant, especially one that was on a pilgrimage.
On a
what drove you to do this?
Giant on a pilgrimage?
Yes. The Frostmourne giants travel on pilgrimages. They are, to my understanding, peaceful on these journeys. Yet you decided to attack and kill it.
Are you some kind of giantologist? He looks at you and he's like, it had a shiny staff and full belt. They just thought it would be good loot. We kept our distance and shot it with crossbows.
Really?
Are giants evil? Oh, we're doing a favor to everyone.
More evil than men.
Yeah, giants... Some giants do get involved in evil deeds. They tend to be hill giants and fire giants, maybe some stone giants. Frost giants can be persuaded to get involved in evil deeds. The Frostmournes are frost giants, but they tend to really keep to themselves. They certainly have no qualms about eating people.
Okay.
But the Frostmournes themselves would be left alone by most guards or, well-educated people. These guys who, by the way, if you haven't got it, are clearly bandits. Every one of the characters would have worked it out. You would know they wouldn't have a clue. And he will say, look, man, just trying to scrape a living. We thought it was better than attacking humans.
Why are you impersonating parts of the city, and how came you about these breastplates?
Boss got them made. Means we don't get troubled on the road when we're smuggling goods. People trust us. Means we don't end up in altercations with humans. We all said we were up for some slightly dodgy deeds, but we didn't want to attack people. There was this bandit troop up to the north that, were involved in the same original plan as we were, and they got absolutely decimated. Their leader got killed and everything. Did she score?
Let's see her. Or did you score a goal?
Yeah.
Oh, go on, lads. Good old little kickers. He would say, there was a group up to the north who attacked humans and they got decimated.
By you guys before I was here.
He will show you the flyers. This is what they signed up for, the road to gold. Paving roads, getting paid. Incentive ran across most of Azra. Oh. Is this the bit where you execute us?
No.
Because we can't put up a fight. Only 4 of us.
Doesn't look.
Speaking of 4 of us, he leans in and he goes, you might as well come out, Dennis! This comes out with his strapped-on breastplate, but he hasn't put the gauntlets, the shoulder piece on, so it really looks bad. It's nowhere near as impressive as their fake armor. And he comes out and he's holding a shovel. He's like, couldn't find the sword, man! He looks around, he's like, so, what's trouble we in?
I suppose that depends on a couple of things. First, whether you can help us find some stones left behind by the giant you murdered.
We haven't
And
touched
second-
those. They look dangerous.
Well, if you know where they are, that's a step in the right direction. And then after that, it's
Points
what
into
you
the
can
building. Sorry. After that
convince
is
us. What you can convince us you're going to do if we leave you alive.
keep out scraping a living, man. We're smuggling fake gems. Only hurts the rich, right?
Perhaps a good
No.
deed.
When you impersonate guards, it hurts everyone that those guards are tasked with protecting, because they lose the confidence that the guards are there for them, not just out there to put forth their own gain.
We did help a cat out of a tree. Just sort of, cause they did ask us because we were guards, and we thought, yeah, why not?
We've done that.
I think you helped a child out of a tree, actually. Or was it a cat?
I had a
That's
cat.
correct.
No, I think a cat helped a
Both.
child out of a tree, right? Yeah, that was the irony of it. Toothy was the cat. It's like, boss is gonna want us wearing the armor, but nothing else.
Would the actual guard be interested in hiring?
They won't take us, man. The River Guard only take ex-soldiers. And we even applied to be part of the rebuild team for the Constellation Temple that got knocked down. They wanted people who could cast Mage Hand. Got no magic.
How much does it pay, this banditry?
Should have reached into his pouch, and we made 3 silvers last week. I did. That's sort of about the same as a family who run a farm might make on a good week.
How many
There's
of you
3?
are there?
There's 3 of them or 4? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think there's about 50 of us in the group. Network.
50!
Well, we're set up all the way from Tella to Tamarkas.
46. Because the 4 of you will be disbanded.
That was awesome.
Jonathan. I'm doing what? Where?
Raising carrots
tiny
for all I
jail.
care.
Raising carrots? I was
The
a farmer.
better idea.
I was a farmer before the war. We don't have any land, mister. It was taken.
I've got a better idea.
Oh?
You'll be delivering stones to the sea.
Those stones?
Those stones.
And-
You're gonna pay us?
I will pay you.
But they're bandits.
People deserve a second chance, Boxxo.
Shouldn't they be
And I very-
punished for the crimes they've committed?
They are going to be punished. They're going to carry these stones from here to Metella.
That's not a crime, that's a job. You're giving them a job.
We'll
Even
do
the
it.
people in prison are paid for their meals.
We'll do it. We'll carry the stones. But then what? I've no land to farm, mister. I've no job to get. I can't promise you that we won't seek a way of finding a living. I've got a girl.
This land looks pretty abandoned.
Actually,
You can't farm
If you-
this land.
He just said he's not above doing this again.
what if we could point you to where there is a farm that is available to be worked?
Yeah, of course. I'd do that. Of course I'd go back to farming the land.
Or if you go back to the sea, up by, it was before Metella, what was the little town?
Oh, take some fucking inspiration. That is fantastic. You can give him exact pinpoint directions to where you cleared out the undead from that.
Yeah, there's a farm that needs to be worked.
And the 4 of them will say, do you want us to take your stones first?
I think that would be a good penance for you.
He turns to Boxxo and he says, you wouldn't smuggle some fake glass for the sake of a young girl you need to feed? It's only me and my daughter.
I would get an honest job. I wouldn't break the law. I wouldn't resort to banditry.
We can't all be brave adventurers. There aren't
You
many
have to be a
jobs
brave
left after the war.
adventurer. I find that hard to believe, considering we keep picking up odds and ends.
But they're all things that we can't do.
Really? You just said that you would travel from here to there, take stones.
We would.
That's a job. But that doesn't involve being an adventurer. That's just a job.
We need to.
Boxxo,
It's
we were
scattered all
given
over
this.
the place.
We were given this job because we are adventurers, and because we have power, and because people trust us. This random Dennis doesn't have those connections.
He also had no way of
I
asking the ghost for a
disagree.
job.
I massively disagree. I think that there are jobs around. There's jobs. All you have to do is look at a bulletin board, ask people.
Yeah, and they have jobs like kill the undead and get rid of a demon in my bedroom. I can't do
Alright,
those
so you
things.
don't take those ones, but you can take the other ones. This is ridiculous.
He looks at you and
We're actually letting these criminals go.
thousands of us that soldiered in the war have no jobs left. And those of us who this is Cedric talking. I was a soldier, and when we came back they had no work for us. They let us go. Emperor Kiazan didn't need his armies anymore. There were over 100 people in my unit alone. And we're not going to get paid. We took this job. Dennis would say, we took this job to pave the roads. There's like 600 people who took this work and no one's paying them. And while the council trying to decide who's in charge, all of us whose lands were burnt to rubble are broken in the war. Even those who were lost in the war, their jobs have already gone. Man, I'll take whatever I'm given, but I'm going to apologize for finding a way of feeding my daughter.
I don't want you to apologize.
We didn't
I want
hurt
you to
anyone.
Pay for the crime.
Well, we did hurt
Took
one
people's
giant.
money.
Actually, we hadn't got to that bit yet. But we did. Yeah, we got some money. You're right.
No. What was you gonna say? Haven't got to what bit?
We haven't sold those gems yet, but we did. There was a previous scam, I guess. So we did make some money from that.
Then I don't need to hear your excuses or explanations. You have your penance.
You said we couldn't go. He points to Boxxo.
You can go.
He sort of. He'll rush inside and he'll grab some paperwork and he'll bring it out to Boxxo. Say, we want to stop them all. What's the boss's plans? He will show you where the other 46 of the group are located all the way along, and you will see that their most recent successful job was snatching a shipment of ink.
That magical ink.
Yes. He will tell you that it was an absolute disaster, and half of the they were attacked by strange liquid monsters that formed when they spilt one of the shipments, and the ink came to life.
Good.
But yeah, you can find the stones. They will carry the stones out to Metella. They will do that as penance because you've just gifted them a farmhouse, so you do not need to pay them.
I'll flip him a gold. 1 gold for the 3 of them, for the 4 of them to share. It's
Yeah,
more than
he will say, this will feed our children. And they will head towards Gior to collect their children, to take them north. They have 3 kids between the 4 of them. And only 1 wife. They don't share a wife, the other 2 have
That poor woman.
The other two are dead. You want to make that clear. The live soldier
Polygamous
is,
family.
What other laws have you been breaking?
but yeah, you guys can shack up in your Ishastar's tower nearby. If you do want to investigate the rest of this mill, you will find a belt that looks like it's sized for a giant with a storm, with a, not a storm bolt, what's that called? Lightning bolt, thank you. With a lightning bolt across the center of it. And a very, very, very tall staff. It's about 15 foot in height.
Well,
That
These are
can't
certainly-
be.
these have certainly piqued Pietro's interest.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Well, do you want to know what the? Do you want to have a look and see whether you can work out what's going on with the staff? It is huge.
I would like to. Yeah, the staff definitely.
Okay. So it is a staff of the Rooted Hills. And when you put your hand on it, it will size down to your size.
Oh.
You don't need a 15-foot staff. It's not helping you. It's overcompensating.
I don't know.
I wanted to like pull it out
And
of
you'll
like
need to
a
wear the
egg
damn
bolt or
belts to
something.
carry the fucking staff.
I don't have room for this.
You don't, he's looked at it and gone, no.
So it was a staff. What kind of staff was it?
Staff of the Rooted Hills. I can ping it in chat if you prefer. When it eventually loads. Getting there. Okay. The belt is, as I'm sure you have worked out, a belt of giant strength. It is a scaling belt of giant strength, which means that it will adjust as you go. I believe you guys are level 7, right? So you're between level 5 and 9?
Yep.
So it'll put you
Correct.
to
Yep.
19 strength.
We're
That may
already
be-
at 19th.
That may be nothing right now, but it will go up to 21 at level 9. And it does, it scales every 2 levels from there. So it's 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. We'll go 21, 23, 25, 27, 29.
That'll be your best bet for getting above 20.
Where's the slumbering?
I haven't
Type
created,
in.
I haven't created it yet.
Okay, cool.
Because, yeah, I have 6,000 scaling items and I've not made them all.
Yeah, no worries.
And a rolling loot table. Staff of the Rooted Hills magically resizes to match the height of any creature that attunes to it, as you might have noticed. It's a +1 attack and damage rolls staff, and when you hit somebody, they can be restrained by spectral vines till the start of your next turn. Should you invoke the rune, you can cast Hold Person or speak with plants with the staff. When you cast Hold Person, they're wreathed in spectral vines. I have no idea if that's useful for you, but you can at least sell it.
We could sell it.
Unless anybody wants to.
Unless someone really wants to carry it, certainly.
I think Corrie has a magical staff. Vel'zekiss has multiple
A magical
magical
staff.
things. Pietro has a magical staff.
I have Akka, who is basically
You have a
my...
book. You have a book and a stone. You're right. That's quite enough. Yeah. So. Well, no, you have a staff, right? You have a staff with a crystal on the top.
It's a more like
What's-
a walking
what's above
cane
it?
that I don't really...
Sure,
It's more like a walking cane that I don't even really use anymore because...
but it's
I
there,
have-
right?
The book is, it's there. It's there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there is the stuff of the Rooted Hills, which was clearly the giants. And did you want to look at the stones before you sent them off? 'Cause you did say they had runes on them.
Oh,
You don't have
No.
to. You can send them off, Azale.
I would respect his last wishes and have them all sent
Yeah.
away.
Fantastic. Well, I just wondered whether they might explode in sunlight or something. No, they're fine. You'll take them out. Yeah. So obviously, Jack, you don't have to attune to that till level 9 if you don't want to. But it is probably worth carrying around.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And with that, you guys can head to the Tower of Ishastar.
Can I take like a sack of their fake gem blanks?
Take the whole crate. They just abandon them, walk off.
I guess I can just leave it. I mean, it's actually a good first thing to leave in the tower and then see what happens.
Well,
to
there
it when
are
we
4
come back.
boxes. Okay, so there's 2 boxes of fake gemstones. There is one box of blank parchment, and it's a whole box of parchment. I think there's 600 sheets in it. Do with that. And there is another box which has this sort of half of it's full of wood, and the wood is carved into rings, bracelets, necklaces, and the other half is this metallic paint that shines and sparkles gold, silver, and copper. So you've got a jewelry making kit for the basic jeweler to start off with making fake jewelry.
Sure.
Yeah. And with that, you guys can. Well, I mean, I don't know if it makes any difference to you, but you can take another long rest. It'll lose your max HP buff. That's what it'll do. But as you take rest in the Tower of Ishastar for the night, because it's now sort of 8:30. I think we will say that you guys are in the parlor for a couple of hours. You've got dinner to make. Is there anything nice for dinner, Corrie?
Sorry, can I do something before we do that?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna take my personal gold. I'm going to remove 100 gold from it, and I'm gonna shove it at the servant for a bedroom.
Okay.
And then
that needs role playing, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yep, cool. So when you go downstairs to the basement, you will see the servant standing next to the crystal. When he looks at you and Boxxo, how can I assist you?
I want a bedroom.
You wish an expansion? Very well. You have the requirement.
Yes, I hold out the pouch of 100 gold.
A small bedroom, that will get you. Very well.
Mm-hmm.
On the first floor.
Yep. Can it be that only I can enter?
I am afraid that how you lock and protect the door is up to yourself.
Okay, that's fine. Can I have a key?
He looks at you.
For
How
the
you?
lock.
After
install a lock.
How you protect it is up to you. It is just going to be a door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
I apologize. Customization is a little sketchy on the walls and doorway from the outside. Inside, a bed, a chest, a chamber pot, a wash place, and a small window. A closet. Will that suffice? I can replace the closet with a writing desk if you prefer.
No, thank you.
Very well. Would you... I apologize, I have not been installed with the politeness module. Would you like the bed size to you or to a normal person? I don't know how to ask that properly. He would ask that in the most polite terms possible, but do you want the bed to be the right size of Boxxo, or do you want it to be a normal in-size bed that you would then fill half of?
I would like it to be a large bed.
So it'll be an average single bed. Average size single bed. And then, later when you expand your room, it might go up to a double. Cool. Okay.
Great. Then I will go back upstairs. And
Vel'zekiss, when you are in the tower, because you're all in the tower at this point, right? Vel'zekiss, you will hear a little mental voice reach you and say, the tower has been upgraded. Boxxo has purchased a bedroom.
Okay. And then he comes through.
I don't know. Do you go into the parlor or do you go straight upstairs to your room?
I go straight to my room. I slam the door shut, and then you just hear the screeching of me moving the dresser in front of the door so that it doesn't open.
An athletics check.
How about acrobatics?
You're like a 4-year-old trying to move a sofa right now. Give it a go.
That is a 12.
Yeah, you can just about squeak it in front of the door handle.
Yeah.
Cool. Boxxo has gone to vent his frustration. So the rest
I
of
would go
you.
up and knock on his door.
There is no reply.
Yeah, I have snippy things I want to say to him, but they're pointless to say to an empty stairwell, so I'll just go back down and hang out.
Cool. So the rest of you convene in the parlor. Any thoughts? Anything particular you want to discuss?
If everyone is hanging out,
some food in the non-kitchen.
in the non-kitchen, just in the fireplace, just like roasting some vegetables on a like stick, almost like marshmallows, just kind of like holding them over the fire.
Oh, kebab dinner, love that. Yeah.
But if everyone's hanging out in the parlor, I would like to go down to the ground floor.
The parlor is, I think, the ground floor. Do you want the door to open directly into it, the front door, or do you want it to be like a separate space?
I think it should be a separate one for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's on the ground floor, but it's separate, and it has its own door and own walls around it, so it's a completely walled-off place. But for the rest of the ground floor, it's just an open space. I'm assuming that's where you want to be.
Mainly I just want to like be near everybody, but like have like a little bit of a privacy. I'm obviously not buying my own room at this point, but I wanted to call Vel'zekiss over to see if he would be willing to chat.
Yes, of course.
So Corrie is going to have laid out like all of the contents of his pack, kind of like on the ground. So there's like some potions, the random stone of speak with the dead, just like the beads of force sort of thing. He's just kind of set them out. And I just look to you. Vel'zekiss, when we first met, there was a pouch that seemed very special to you. And I was wondering if there was any way that I could convince you in trade that I might be able to talk to you about it or see what was inside. It has been weighing on my mind for these weeks that we have traveled. For I don't want to pry into your personal space, but my mind wants to pry.
Above table. Do we know what this is? Because I've forgotten.
I mean, it's in my character backstory-ish stuff.
Ah, right, yeah. Got it.
It out loud.
Yeah. I just made a note of it then.
Yeah.
It's like, if you ever want to steal it or do anything with it, like, feel free to. And I was like, I don't know that I want to steal it, but he does want, like, it's been weighing, like, it's been something that's, like, been in the back of his mind.
Well, so Vel'zekiss basically, he sort of contemplates and he says, well, even in the short time I've had this tower, I've been imagining that I'll be receiving quite a number of supplicants here over time, but this is not the first request I would have expected, and you've found a way of letting me know straight away that all that people coming to the tower and asking me things might be more uncomfortable than I would have liked. But I don't know that anything needs to be traded.
It is just, I guess, habit for me. For I don't want to ask you to give up something that might be precious to you without offering you something in return.
Well, certainly the actual thing, or things that are precious to me, will not be given up under any circumstances, but I don't necessarily mind telling you about it.
Would be wonderful.
So he will sort of shift around to the front of himself, because he keeps this bag strapped, like, until he's asleep alone, like, and sort of pop open the flap. And you can see that it's like really like, I mean, first of all, you would see the contents first, but hang on a second, because you would also notice that it's like all like ensconced in like fluffy, like probably like a fur or something. You know what I mean? So that it's like kind of soft and protective. But what is in there are two large, leathery but probably kind of solidified whitish eggs.
Okay.
And he says, well, these are where I come from. This one in particular is the egg from which I never quite hatched. But I did escape.
You escaped your egg without hatching? How is that possible?
Well, you know, despite how much better at it I've gotten, I'm not really sure either. But if you want the real depth of it, the question I have is why my sibling here never did.
Oh. I'm so sorry. That must be a terrible burden to walk with.
I don't know that I would call it a burden. For the most part, it seems that I am special. It is a gift. But it is an uncertainty about why.
But know that you could have had more of a family, and do not. I feel a certain kinship to that, for I too didn't have a family, though I don't know if there was even a possibility that it could have happened. I don't think that I was special in any way. I thank you for sharing with me.
You might not be as special as I am, but you're certainly a step above men who can find a little to turn to but banditry.
I did also want to apologize to you. When we met, I called your shows frivolous and kind of made them off to be something silly that people would spend money on. It was really just jealousy. I always wanted to be in a place where people could be laughing and enjoying a show and some sort of spectacle, but I just couldn't. And so I would make them out to be something that was not worth anyone's time, or even, expand them to be something greater than they ever were, just to hide my own inadequacy.
Well, as it happens, I took no offense simply because, well, I think part of the reason I'm here is because I had come to think the same. That I should be much more than frivolous shows. But, it certainly seems like a lot of this adventurer business is about reputation. And so I think it's not such a terrible idea if I would, we, perhaps, would, attempt to re-inject some showmanship into it.
I would like that. I think that inspiring the people around us would do good for everyone, even if we aren't, directly helping them. If they knew that there was a group of us who were fighting to make the world better and to find ways to break chains, that maybe it could be a positive force in the world. But I'm glad that you didn't take offense to my comments. I've grown to know you over this time, and I truly respect you. And I didn't want anything to be between us, as it were, in a negative way.
Not at all. Shall we go back and see if Boxxo's come down from his new bedroom yet? The tower informed he's built one. He's locked himself in there. I'm wondering if he's building a prison for all these fools we find along the road. I expect he might need a night to himself, but maybe he'll come down. Well, I suppose if prying is to done, you're the one is to be done, you're the one to do it.
And as the two of you convene with Toothy and Pietro in the new parlor for the evening with Boxxo, I'm assuming not coming down for the night at all. We will pick up the following morning next session, but that is where we're going to end. We'll come to the timeless tradition of MVPs. I'll start with a couple of little ones. I really enjoyed Joe's comment about the ghost saying apparently we're on its side now. And I really enjoyed Josh Boxxo's sort of almost desperation that there must be a legal process for this. You can't just exonerate them for the things they've done and let them go. Like it felt like it was more than this is wrong. It was almost like this cannot be right process, which was really interesting. I think, it's going to be really lovely to see that explored. And just on that ilk, when you were like, they can't go, and our good friend Pietro went, you can go. just brilliant separate. And obviously the final conversation was great. So now I've taken 4 MVPs, I will pass it off to Josh.
I was gonna say the conversation with Corrie and Vel. It was really cool seeing Vel open up a little bit about his history, and just I really liked the softness with which Corrie kind of approached that conversation and kept it going. It was just really, really great roleplay from both of you.
Yeah, I agree completely. Joe?
Well, I mean, obviously, it has been taken many times already, but thank Mark for raising the whole concept. You need people to, right? Like we talked the other week about those deliberate character set pieces that you're forcing in versus other ones. Obviously, this is sort of in between, but when it's brought on by another player, it doesn't feel so obnoxious. So I appreciate having that chance to do those things as raised by somebody else. I think the team shape watering was a lot of fun too. We can really kind of go ridiculous with that now. Sometimes it seems wrong because it is such a powerful cantrip if treated that way. But especially with maybe say with the same theme, right? If people are working together, it feels more of okay, cool. This is a fun thing we're doing together, not just me going, I'm going to abuse the power of this cantrip.
Yeah, and you do have the Tidestone as well, and so that it's sort of as I say, just push the boundaries to the extreme, and we'll see where the limits are. I think it's great fun, and it invites creativity, which is always, my primary aim with D&D, really. Mark, MVP?
I think it's got to be the Vel'zekiss, the fake out with the tower of oh no, we knew we weren't supposed to put it in the sunlight, and just slamming the thing up to mess with Toothy.
Yeah, I love that too. Rico?
So, my MVP has to go to the fact that in order for Boxxo to throw his tantrum, he had to go and buy a bedroom, slam his door, and make it known that he is upset.
Yeah.
But then also to build on Corrie and Vel'zekiss' conversation, I think that I'm very thankful that we picked up Corrie along the way, because he really is the only one of us that has that sort of soft, gentler touch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Toothy and Boxxo have their gentle moments, but you're right. He's the only one who would reach an olive branch out in
yes. The most empathetic of the group by far, I would say.
And with a curiosity problem. Jack? MVP?
Yeah, to build off of that as well, of Corrie being the one to offer the olive branch, I feel like a lot of our party has really what's the word I'm looking for? We're not very emotionally mature. And I feel that Corrie brings that some of the time. And it's a good reflection to be in Boxxo this episode, where he storms off and doesn't come down for the night. It's that's in direct contrast, and it's and it's right up there, and it's like it's cool to have two characters like that, and so it's awesome to have that dynamic in a group. And then the fun one is just Rico just creepily flying out the window of the. I couldn't get over it. I was just, you doing that.
Great,
doesn't kill me. Like, that's so good.
I was like, how far away did you guys start with the pass that trace? Because this guy had already spotted you with a spyglass, and then you disappeared somewhat. And then suddenly, where you were in front of his spyglass, and he was just like, whoa, there's no need for that. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed there was a real mixture today of mystery and interest with playfulness and fun with a bit of serious drama, and that's always the best way of playing D&D, right? So I think it was a really great session, but that is where we're going to end. So if you guys would like to say goodbye.
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 Oh, we shall see you soon.